So, welcome to our live prize draw announcement. I'm joined by Sarah from Unbelievable Health.
Morning.
Morning. And this is so exciting because we've had all these reviews that have come in, but don't worry, we're going to do it really fair how we pick them. But I've brought these in so I could share a few and read them out. So, because Sarah, you haven't seen all of these, even though I know you're a great fan of the podcast. So I'll start at the top here. We've got really wonderful podcasts, so insightful and opened up a whole new world to me. Very well-rounded podcast too. Your voice is a joy to listen to as well, which I sometimes find hard with podcasts. It's soothing and enjoy listening when I go out walking. Excited to make my way through them all. And then emojis with bees and things. So that's really
Great.
And then I've got one from a beekeeper. So as a passionate beekeeper, I've been on the lookout for podcasts that focus on natural and bee-centric beekeeping. I love all of Paula's episodes and look forward to listening to a new one as soon as it drops. One of my favourites is about the not-so-humble dandelion. It opened up my eyes to its amazing benefits of this special plant, and I'm now spreading the word about leaving the dandelions for bees and other pollinators. The swarm episode is another favourite that I forwarded on to many beekeeping friends. I love Paula's stories and the way she weaves health and bee knowledge into each episode as she creates a community of listeners passionate about the same topics. Isn't that
Wonderful.
nice?
So nice.
Oh, I see we've got some people starting to join. So comment wherever you're watching from, because we will see the comments. They take a little while to come through on my screen, but just let us know who you are, where you're from, because it won't have your name on. So just say hi and what your name is and where in the world or where in the country you are. Or if you're shy and you've gone away, that's fine. So I'm going to read another one here. When we've got a bit more of an audience, then we'll draw a name out of a skep. So B has been really good at collecting everything together. She's put all the names all folded up on bits of paper and they're all in a straw basket, and then we'll pull them out when we've got a good audience. So if you can just comment here, let us know where you're from. Let us know if you've entered the draw, because it would be good to know if you're here, and then we know if you win that how exciting that is. So here's another review that we got. It said, I listened to the episode Paula did on a good death. I chose this one to listen to first on the list as it spoke to me most for the point I am in my life. Paula spoke about methods we can adopt in life which can aid us in having a peaceful or a good death. My own mother died a couple of years ago from MND, a condition which we now know runs in our family. As such, death is something I simultaneously have an acute awareness of, but an avoidance of discussing, don't we all? My own mother avoided discussions of her mortality right up until the end of this. Is something I want to avoid in my own life. I found Paula's suggestion on having some kind of plan to think over, discuss and revisit quite an empowering one. And if you can hear some noises in the background, we're packing up because I'm moving my workshop this weekend. So I'm moving to the new location, Higher Farm, and this is the Hive in Galhampton, and we're moving it. But also I've got my suit maker going, which is really quiet. You forget it's on, and then suddenly it beeps and makes all these whirring noises.
That was a great back to the episode. That was an amazing episode, actually.
Oh, thank you. I think it's interesting, and it was seeing somebody who I've known for many years, seeing them deteriorate so rapidly. And yet when I visited, you sort of walk in the house, it's, you're talking days, not weeks, and thinking, right, okay, I've got to hold it together. I want to be the best benefit I can for this visit. It's no good going in to see someone who's dying and just crying all over them. They've probably got their own grief to deal with. So it is quite hard. And I think one of the hardest things is a lot of people don't even want to go there. So they won't visit people when they're at their end of life.
Or they go there and they pretend like everything is normal and, oh, you'll be fine.
Yeah. And we all know, you can't have an elephant in the room when somebody's dying. And, and what was lovely is my last visits with this friend was we were laughing, the second from last one, he was obviously in a lot of pain, and he was, going downhill quickly, but he was completely complimentous. We talked about how we met. We talked about all our stories. We talked about when his wife died. We then talked about how he's living his last few days and weeks, or he thought it might be weeks. And it was great because he'd been literally waking up and thinking, what do I want to do today? And there's a place nearby that you can go swimming if you need a hoist to get into the pool, and you book it as a private pool for, I don't know, 25, 40 pounds an hour. And because he had his son and daughter with him, he just woke up and he went, I'd really love to go swimming today. And so they took him swimming. They were all in the pool together. He had no pain when he's in the water. Your body's light. And it's this kind of, it's those little special moments.
Of course. Did you read that book by Atul Gawande on being mortal? That book is a life changer. You must read it. I thought about that book when I was listening to that episode. It's an absolute game changer. It also really pricks the hole in the balloon of fear about death. And it talks about sort of having a plan and act when you're in situations with loved ones who are going through that. It's great. But your episode was really helpful. It's great.
Yeah. Oh, we all do. It's going to come to all of us, so we do need to talk about it. So I'm going to read. I mean, we have got lots. We've got 21 people entered, which we're just so grateful for, because it does make such a difference when people write a review on a podcast. It just changes all the algorithms. It means that the AI that organizes all this stuff, it will show that people like a certain podcast and it will recommend it to other people. So if anyone listens to another podcast that's similar, they'll go, oh, you should try this, or you might like that. And it just makes such a difference, and it is a bit of a hassle. I know it's a bit of a hassle to find how to leave a review. And if you're not very tech savvy, I know the first time I entered a competition like this, and I was like, oh, I don't know where the review is. I don't know how to do a screenshot, and it's all difficult. So I really, really grateful for everyone.
But it's important if you love a podcast and you want it to keep going. Really, once you figure out how to do it, I try to review podcasts. It's just a nice thing to do. It helps them to stick around and keep going.
It is. And when you're recording a podcast, you're basically talking to yourself, unless you have a guest on. And, how do you know what people think? And it is just, it's really humbling, but it's also, it really gives, when things are hard, when you've got lots going on, and, it does cost a lot of money to put on podcasts. And when you're thinking, oh, is this worthwhile? But you only need a little bit of thanks, or a little bit of people going, oh my gosh, that made a difference, or I really enjoyed that. And you're like, yeah, I should go ahead. So this is a good review, actually, Sarah. And this one is for you. Let me just see. I'm not sure if this is one. Oh, yeah. So here we go. Since around October 23, I was getting a cold after cold and couldn't get clear of stubborn viral infections. I'm a nurse practitioner helping with minor illness, seeing around 10 to 15 patients most days with coughs, cold, sore throats, earaches. A colleague suggested UnBeelievable immune health supplements. Nice. I started taking them around October, November, and I've not had a viral illness since. It's nearly March. I listened to the podcast last night and learned about propolis and all its anti-properties, antiviral, antibacterial, etc. I was so enlightened. I had been skeptical about whether it was the supplements that were keeping me virus-free, but the podcast assured me they are definitely helping. I've just ordered another few months worth. Yay! And then amazing, I've been recommending them to everyone. So, oh, that's lovely.
That's so nice. It's wonderful.
But they are amazing. And I've got a little selection here. So if anybody is watching, they can see these supplements. Oh. But do you know what? The immune, so this is the maximum strength immune formula, but there's the daily one, which we're out of now because we've all been taking them. But we've got some of the max strength.
Oh, I'll send you some more daily.
Oh, bless you. But yeah, they are just phenomenal. And I loved, you shared a video on your social media where someone was taking the Be Energized. And instead of taking it as a capsule, just breaking open the capsule and putting it in a smoothie. And it's
you can do that with any of them, because look, most supplements, they add a lot of fillers and binders and you don't have a lot of active ingredients, but this doesn't have any of that. So it's all active ingredients. So you can just open it in and it's, you know, fully leaded, and, you know, it doesn't change the flavor of anything. Throw the capsules away. We have had people ask, so do you just leave the capsule shells in there? I'm like, no, just throw those away.
Yeah, yeah, and they're vegetable, aren't they? The capsules.
Yeah, they're vegetarian, but you know, you don't want to have it in your porridge and like a clunky capsule in there. But anyway, but yeah, makes it easier. But bee products really are. I think people don't understand how beneficial and how nutrient dense they are. It's really interesting. I mean, that bee pollen is the only ingredient known to exist that contains every vitamin, mineral, and amino acid. It's just, I mean, how do the bees do it? I don't know.
Well, they're here to help us, and we've just got to let them. And you know, and they're using people like you to sort of make their products available to people like me, and then people like me explaining, you know, what it is about the bees that's so wonderful. So I've got Bee here with the skep, the magic skep. And hello, Thinley. We've got Thinley Rinzin, who's watching from Bhutan. Hello.
Oh, wonderful.
One of my favorite places in the world. Can you share with us, Thinley, where in Bhutan you are? Because I'd love to know. So there we go. There's all the there's all the names.
What a nice skep, Paula. Did you make that?
I did. It's skep season here. If you saw my floor, it's covered in bits of straw. Randy would be tearing her hair out here because she likes to keep our hive really neat and tidy. But I've been weaving sun hives and skeps, and so there's straw everywhere. Right. So, and hello, Kerry. Hello. Yes, you should have entered. Although we do know you quite well, and she's one of the bee team, so maybe not. But right. So I have.
I can't wait to see who's going to win all this gorgeous honey. Your honey is just always so amazing.
Oh, thank you. Well,
all around the world, which is so exciting. That's the best thing about all these honeys you've got. It's just so wonderful to try all these different ones.
Well, it is, and I've been seeing a lot of posts supporting the farmers, and the one thing that grates me is it says, you know, support your farmers. That's great. And then it says buy, because it's beekeepers sharing a new picture, and it's like buy British honey. Yes, buy local British honey. But I mean, for instance, Bhutan, if you could get your hands on Bhutanese honey, the honey there is coming from an environment where there's no chemicals in the soil. You know, they're Buddhist, so their practices are really good with the bees. And I'm sure that the energetics of the environment and the beekeeper come through in the honey. So let's support, you know, all beekeepers, you know, who are real beekeepers.
Some of the honey you recommended to me, that Nayuli from Madagascar and some of these other ones from different countries, are just mind-blowing. Oh my gosh, I've become quite an addict and a honey nerd. So I wish my name was in that hat, but of course it wouldn't be.
No, mine isn't either, but there we go. But yeah, so the winner will get a year's supply of honey. So it's 13 jars of honey. So we've got a jar each month plus one for luck. And you've also got a full set of the Unbelievable supplements. And we've put in a Bees in Bhutan book and one of my lip balms. So it's all packed.
Lip balm, amazing.
Right. And the winner is, oh my gosh, Amber Brooke. No. We've got an excited person here. Wow. So, and do you know that was the first oh my gosh, well done, Amber. So that was the first review that I read. You can see some hearts coming up. So she put, really wonderful podcast, so insightful, and opened up a whole new world to me. Very well-rounded podcast too. Your voice is a joy to listen to as well, which I sometimes find hard with podcasts. Oh gosh, we've got people crying here. So excited. It's soothing and enjoy listening when I go out walking. Excited to make my way through them all. And then a lovely smiley face and a bee emoji. So well done, Amber. Gosh,
Amber. Oh my gosh, congratulations.
Oh, that is amazing. I'm going to share a couple more of the not so lucky ones. However, if you're watching this or you're listening to this, please send in your addresses. If you've all got our email, so email b@paulacarnell.com, and everyone who entered, we're going to send a little something. So just, you know, send us your details, because as long as we've got an address, we can post it. As long as you're in the UK, I'm really sorry, Thinley, but we just can't ship to to Bhutan. Do you know, I'd love to get my Bees in Bhutan books over to Bhutan, but the cost of shipping is frightening. So if you know of anyone who's got an empty suitcase who wants to take some books over, because I'd love to get them over there so more people can learn about Bhutan, and perhaps tourists there, they can have the book and then, you know, they've got a souvenir of Bhutan. Anyway, so I've got Sam Rybeck, lovely Sam, who's done beekeeping course. She says, so delightfully infectious. I followed Paula since I went on her brilliant Kind of Keeping naturopathic course. Her enthusiasm for bees and for life in general is so infectious. She always makes you smile. Oh, that's nice.
That's a nice one.
And then I've got so here I've got Brittany Gundrum. First interview watched. So, are weed killers safe for bees? I learned about this podcast from Instagram and I was drawn since I actually have bees myself, which has been a learning process. I got my bees because of learning about Lyme disease and I started doing bee venom therapy. Excellent. And embarked on starting my own hive. I'll be learning a lot more from this podcast moving forward. Thank you. And then I've got so interesting. This is from Nikki Cox. The interesting thing about this is when people write a review, they might have had a completely different name to what their real name is. So, you know, when people log in to whatever platform it is. So it was a real nightmare for B to try and pull everything together and collate, you know, who had done everything. So this is why we're so grateful for people sending in the screenshots, because then at least we had a name on an email and we could see who had done which screenshot. So Nikki Cox says, I found all this so interesting. I could also relate to some of your videos too and how you got started, as I also have a chronic illness. I'm also aware of how honey can be a great healer in so many ways. I learned lots of things I didn't know from listening to you. Thank you. So that's nice. So yeah, really, really grateful to all of these wonderful reviews. I'll be sharing them as social media posts, so you know you'll get to see more of them. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you, Sarah, for joining us. Is there anything that you want to pass on? I've been jabbering.
No, I'm just really grateful that everyone entered and shared the post, and you know, I'm really, really, you know, congratulate Amber. She's going to really enjoy all those goodies. And it was just so great being on the podcast. I really loved it. You're doing a great job. So I'm grateful that I was on.
No, and I'm so grateful for you for supporting us. You know, it's just wonderful. And it's lovely when you can find that synergy. You know, we're both on the same wavelength. So brilliant. Thank you very much. Right. Bye, everyone. Thank you for joining us. And until the next podcast. See you then.
Take care. Bye.